6 years ago, Morocco became one of the countries to join the Abraham Accords. 4 Muslim countries in the first administration of Donald Trump recognized Israel's sovereignty and existence in exchange for benefits from the United States and opening up bilateral relations with Israel. So in 2020, under Trump, Morocco recognized Israel's existence. Morocco and Israel deepened their bilateral intelligence, security, and economic ties. And Morocco became a major and significant and important ally of Israel. Well, recently, you may know this, Spain, almost on exactly the same timeline, has become an enemy of Israel. Because as it so happens, because Spain has a left-wing government, the same left-wing government that opened up the borders to immigrants is also supportive of Palestine. And so ever since October 7th, these same left-wingers in control of Spain, they've also been extremely hostile to Israel, Israel's government, and oppose Israel's war in Gaza. And so the Spanish ministers have called for Netanyahu's arrest. The left-wing Spanish regime has implemented an arms embargo against Israel. The left-wing Spanish government refused to allow a ship bringing weapons to Israel to dock at a Spanish port.
It boils my blood that a Muslim country like Morocco, at least nominally, is supportive of Israel, while the other country that America is interfering to punish is a Christian country and they're supportive of Palestine. It doesn't make sense to me, and it shouldn't make sense. It shouldn't happen in this world. The problem is, I've seen this video of the Prime Minister of Spain. He had this back and forth with a little girl from Gaza. And he made a video and she made a reaction to his video and he reacted to her reaction. It became this back and forth. I didn't know that Spain was that staunchly supportive of Palestine, but it is. And it's actually a shame on the Muslim world that Morocco is being that collaborative with Israel. But that's the world we live in, I guess.
And this has incensed the Israelis. But not just the Israelis, also the Israelis' allies in America. Because, of course, Israel also controls the United States, and specifically the Republican Party and the right-wing government in Trump's second term. And there's something very interesting that happened a few months ago. In April of this year, just a few months ago, in the congressional record, the House of Representatives did a report about the security situation in Morocco, and it said that those 2 Spanish enclaves, those 2 Spanish cities in northern Africa, Ceuta is one of them, the one that's being invaded right now, the Republican House report said that those 2 territories are Moroccan territory occupied by Spain. And the report says that the State Department under Marco Rubio should see to it and facilitate the return of those territories to Morocco. That's a House Republican report on these cities, on these Spanish cities in Morocco. Now, what do you think accounts for the change? Why do you think it is that the Republican Party in the United States wants to see Spain punished and Morocco rewarded? That's a policy change from the point of view of the United States. The Republican Party is instructing the State Department to change our policy towards Spain and Morocco and say that we should promote the conquest of Spanish territory by Morocco, saying that that's occupied Moroccan territory pursuant to some treaty from the 18th century.
First of all, that's crazy that a congressional report, like the time of Congress, is being wasted on a territorial dispute between Morocco and Spain. A dispute that's not even that important, by the way. It's been going on for hundreds of years. Nobody really cares about it. The cities are on the side of Morocco because there is a sea between Morocco and Spain. The cities on the Moroccan side. And why does the United States care anyway? You know what I mean? Why there is an interest in the Congress in this particular dispute? Leave it to Nick to give you the explanation, but it's obvious. You know, it's completely outside of the American interest in the region. It won't turn into a war, but it's a pain point for both countries because it has to do with pride and like sovereignty. Anyway, but obviously when something is that bizarre, like why does America care? There's always one single explanation. Here it is.
Well, it's very obvious to see. The reason Republicans support the invasion of the Spanish cities is they're doing this on behalf of Israel. They're promoting Morocco's core security interests, punishing Spain at the expense of their core security interests, because Spain is an adversary of Israel and Morocco is a security ally of Israel. And we know this because the State Department did the same thing in 2020. As part of the deal for Morocco to recognize Israel, the United States and Israel recognized Morocco and its claim over Western Sahara, another disputed territory in northern Africa. And so the U.S. and Israel effectively gave Morocco disputed Spanish territory in 2020. This was Morocco's reward for recognizing Israel. Now the Republicans are back in power 6 years later, and they say the same thing. Go ahead, Morocco, take Spain's 2 remaining cities in northern Africa. This is your reward for being loyal to Israel. This is Spain's punishment for being disloyal. It's also worth noting, as Netanyahu carries out the ethnic cleansing in Gaza, one of the big questions hanging over the security situation there is, what do we do with all the Palestinians in Gaza? Where are we going to put them? You got 1.5, 2 million people that are clearly miserable and hate Israel and militating against them. What are we going to do with them? Where are we going to put them? Do we push them into the Sinai Peninsula? Egypt will not allow that. Egypt is putting their military on the border to prevent them from going there. Where else can we send them? Well, one of the countries that was under consideration was Morocco. The Trump administration said, maybe we will have Morocco take the displaced Palestinians, and in exchange, we'll give Morocco more territory. In exchange, we'll do things for Morocco. Maybe this is part of that deal? Whether it is or it isn't, it shows this is the kind of mindset behind the policymaking and decision-making in Washington and Israel, which is using Morocco, a Muslim Arab ally under this monarchical dictatorship, and also using it to punish one of their left-wing liberal enemies in Europe, in Spain. And so that's the third civilizational enemy, is that somebody opened up the gates here. Somebody opened up the gates of Toledo and let the Muslims pour in and conquer and invade Europe. And as always, it is the Jews. So it's the left-wing government in Spain that promotes refugees welcome, makes it harder to deport these people, incentivizes them to come here through permanent residency. It's the Muslims that are pushing their own people as a biological weapon to go out and conquer Europe.
I want to say this, 2 points. Number one, I don't think Morocco is using these people as a biological weapon, and I'll tell you why. These are not your regular economical migrants, and I'll tell you why. There isn't a lot of opportunities in these 2 cities, or in this particular city, that doesn't really exist in Morocco, because these cities are really that rich. These are ideologues. They believe, because people in Morocco believe that these cities are theirs. They believe in the historical narrative that these cities are Moroccan cities. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I still hate this narrative that the leftists, and it's a true narrative, I hate the idea itself. Like, this is the case, but I don't like it, because the left-wing activists who like refugees, who support Palestine, these people are the crazies. They believe in transgenderism. They believe in all these things. And if you are Muslim living in the West, the right-wingers might pose a threat to your existence there. They might deport you. But if you lived there, the left-wingers will take your children and, put you in jail if you misgendered your 3-year-old, something like that. So it's a lose-lose for Muslims in the West, in my opinion.
But in the end, it's Israel and its Jewish allies in the United States. They're really the ones that are opening the gates and making this happen. And they're doing it to punish Spain, because Spain doesn't co-sign the wickedness of Israel. Those are the 3 civilizational enemies that are making this happen. It's a left-wing government betraying their own people. It's Washington betraying its own people on behalf of Israel. It's Israel and the Muslims twisting the knife against us. This is a story of what's happening in the West. And the answer to all 3 of these is nationalism. Only nationalism can cut through all 3. The left is our enemy, the third world is our enemy, and the Zionists are our enemy. The Jewish oligarchy, the Jewish nationalists are our enemies, because Spain doesn't co-sign the wickedness of Israel. Those are the 3 are our enemy. The Jewish oligarchy, the Jewish left wing are our enemies. The left is our enemy because these are people that are self-hating. These are self-hating anarchists. They hate everything that is good. The left wing is effectively suicidal, those that are white, that is. And the left is obviously comprised of and infiltrated by spiritual or actual outsiders too. It's filled with so-called marginalized people, disaffected people, poor people, students, radicals, deviants, foreigners. And so the left they just want to see destruction. They want to see the country ripped to pieces. They want the stench of weed. They want graffiti. They want chaos and crime. They want the rich to be destroyed. Their mascot is a masked person in a hoodie setting a cop car on fire. So we can never work with the left. We can never work with the left that says refugees welcome, abolish ICE, open the prisons, get rid of the police. These people are anarchists. These people hate themselves. If they had it their way, we wouldn't have a country.
Yeah, to his point, have you seen this video of this Spanish woman, young, blonde, standing on the Spanish side of the border, and the second the gates opened and all these shirtless Moroccans, I just found it funny, but I'm sure it will anger a lot of people. The second they poured in, she was just dancing in complete jubilation. She was cheering them on, like gesturing to them, yeah, come in, yeah. She was like celebrating with them. And I still don't like leftists though. And I don't think this whole saga is that important. Actually, its significance comes only from its geopolitical angle, like it's Israeli Moroccan American relationship. But at the end of the day, this wasn't actual Spain, by the way. Again, it was on the side of Morocco. So I think people are making it a little bit bigger deal than it is. But anyway, please don't like or subscribe. Leave a comment because that would push the video in the algorithm more. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.